Hey guys, it's me again, Orxler. What if this is part 7 to what if Bell was artorias, and where I left off, I believe Bell was just talking with Ryu after that whole incident. Now as I continue forward, I'll say that they're just going about their day. And if you watch the anime, Hestia gets kidnapped. But I'll talk about the events that lead up to it. One day they're in town, I'll say they had to stay an extra day. So this time is just about wandering the town and everything. And as they're going through, they bump into some blackguard scum as they wear the mask. And there's 10 of them. No, let's say 15 of them. So as Bell and Sif bump into them, they're like, "You're artorias. Oh, we've been wondering where you went, little wolf." And as they're saying this, Bell's feral fangs literally come running up, tearing down. They're like, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Sir Artorias?" And as they see the blackguard, they all start getting ready. Bell is holding them back while the 15 Soma Familia. I'm just calling them the Soma Familia or the Blackguard, whatever you prefer. Because if you don't know, Soma is like a crime family, sort of. They're very around alcohol and such. So they do criminal acts to get that money. But as I digress, these guys have tasted the wine, they want more money. And they hear that the bounty is still active on Bell's head. So as they hear this, they sort of start getting ideas. They're like, that price on your head is still from the general. He's like, I am aware. He's like, I'm aware. And as Terry and Darren are like, come on, try it, Blackguard. We can take a few more of your numbers down. And as they're saying this, they're like, I remember you guys. You were some of his captains, or just officers, as you know what I mean, betas, because they kind of were structured like a wolf pack, except there were no omegas. There are people who try to keep everyone happy and such, but that's everybody in the military. There's always some people trying to keep the others' morale up. That is how it's depicted. So as I digress, they go on and say, you guys were his betas, as they're in wolf packs. And as they're hearing this, they're like, yeah, so come on. Take those swords out, we'll cut you down like we did hundreds of your brothers. As they, the Blackguard hear this, they start getting riled up, it's like a pack of animals have, right now, it's a group of guardsmen versus a gang of thugs. This is more like a gang war at this point. Not Bell's group is a gang, but you get what I mean. It's just essentially gang. It looks like two gangs are standing off. They're like, come on, let's see what you got. They're each side is antsing each other on, come on, we'll show you what we're made of. One the other fangs, I'll call him Kyle. Kyle's like, oh, look at you mongrel, look at you maggots. Call yourselves a blackguard. You guys will laugh at most. And as they're saying this, things are getting riled up. And then, I know there's a guy who runs the town, comes walking up. They're like, what's the meaning of this? Stop this at once. He sees Bell and, his 911. And he's like, dang. And as he sees this, he sees, his little gang. They're, heavily armored troops. They've, all taken inspiration from Boreas and Bell. So they wear, blue heavy armor and, with a sword and shield. And, I'll guess, none of them really have any dogs. But they have, a lot of wolf thing around them. They have wolves, symbols of wolves engraved to them. And, things I know that there's probably some forms of tattoos. So it's, part of the wolves pack and like etc etc. And so as this is going on, it's just like eyes and like the entire group just comes over to like, what's happening? And as they see Belle and like this one blackguard who's like as tall as him, maybe a little bit shorter, and they're like squaring off. They're like, come on, you wanna go, brat? And as they keep, like, Belle is just staying quiet. He's waiting for the moment that he can draw his sword and cut them down. But then it's just, like, put to a stop to, like, oh, stop this. And as they all, like, start, not cooling down, but they all start backing off. The blackguard are like, we thought you wouldn't. And as they're walking away, they're, like, all, like, angry. They're like... As they get angry, they're approached by somebody. I believe this is, spoiler alert, Hermes. But what they do is, like, he gives them money, like, if you go, his goddess is in the dungeon, they're like, oh, really? And as they hear this, like, they're given the plan, take the goddess, show him, take a fight, do whatever. Do this and you'll get paid. And as they say this, they're like, you didn't have to say anything else. And as they, like, get their gear together, they kidnap the Hestia. They have her, like, tied up. And then Belle gets the note. He, like, approaches with his pack. They don't say come along. They're like, bring your feral fangs or your little runts with you. And as they say this, they, like, they all get armed and, like, they're like a pack out to, like, save their alpha. Because this is how Belle feels. Pack mentality. So as they see this, they see, like, the group, he's like, give me back my goddess. He's like, make us whelp. And this isn't, like, gonna be, like, a nice little duel that they have in the beginning. This is a brutal, like, this is actually gonna be killing. So as they all charge in, like, Belle draws his sword and he gets up. Whoa. They still have, like, they'll have 3 guys guarding the goddess. These guys are not happy. They're like, we want shot at those mongrels. And as they keep saying this, they hear the battle. They're like, wouldn't mind if we just left. So they go running off. And Mikado, and her little group come and help as usual. But here's the thing. When they get there, 3 guys are already dead. Like, none of the feral fangs. But 3 of the blackguard, they're already dead. They're, like, cut down. One's arm is gone. One's hand is gone. Of course it is. And another one's just cut in half. They're just, like, in a brutal melee. Just, like, Wilhelm screams. And as this is said, like, Ryu and such come up there. And they're like, what's happening? What's happening? And as they see Belle in the, like, pickup, like, pretty much single out the commander. And this commander is pretty skilled, but not as skilled as Belle. But he's just tough. So as they're dueling, he gets, like, little jabs off, and he's like, oh, that hurt! And smashes down with what I'll say is, I believe the word is pada. It's like pada or something. It's an Indian weapon, like a bladed gauntlet, like where a giant, like a sword comes out, and he's like swinging 2 of those, like, and Belle's just like using his sword and shield to block. And as this is happening, Sif is like taking on like a couple of the guys. The Blackguard is going down. They have like 15 members, and the Feral Fangs had 12. The Blackguard are down to 8 members now. And now not 8, but I'll say like 6. And as they continue to fight, they're just going on and on and on. And now, like, the other few have been, like, cornered off. They're like, ugh. And Belle, like, gets, like, a lucky strike, and he, like, slices through the foot. He's like, my foot! As he's on the ground, Ryu and them see, like, Belle walk over with his sword and just plunges it right in, and just not just like to the point like ugh, he like slams it all the way down to where it cracks the earth beneath him. He hits it so hard into the ground it like sends a crack up the mountain. They're like, whoa. And Ryu sees what he means is that he wasn't just doing it because of duty, he was doing it for revenge. She sees the pure hatred he has for the blackguard. Now, as I continue forward, Jean and Valerie like walk over and they're like, Belle? He's like, And as he realizes what they have just saw, he's like, forgive me, but they took Hestia. And as they say that, Lily and Hestia come walking over, and she's like, I found her. And he's like, good. And as Hestia like goes over, she sees what happens. He's like, yes. And the feral thing's like, we showed those blackguard dogs. No, those not dogs, blackguard maggots. Better insult. And as they're doing this, they're talking. Then, Goliath comes strolling out like, blah, blah, blah. And as they continue forward, Belle in the group is doing... Belle, like, I forget the girl's name, blue-haired chick's name. She goes and rallies the town people to, like, get everyone who's there, so they get their mages, their archers, and everything. And now Belle and the Feral Fang are like leading the charge. The Feral Fang are keeping like monsters away, while Belle, Ryu, and that girl are also fighting Goliath. As this is happening, Belle's like shouting encouraging words, like giving everyone, I guess, pack mentality boost. And as they like feel this, they all get empowered. The Feral Fangs start tearing through monsters more effectively. Healers are like just tossing out, not healers, but like mages are like tossing out like massive blows to the monsters below. Not all of them, but some of them. And then you got all the other guys, they're like charging out their super cool attack, like, oh boy, I don't know exactly, but it's just like a giant explosion. As they do that, like, Goliath goes like, oh, and does the whole fall down thing. Then Belle goes up and like charges like Fenrir's blessing, as it's called, and like slices down on Goliath. But as he does that, Goliath like quickly snaps its head up and then shoots a concentrate beam, because if you don't know, he has the ability to like, I guess it's like shouts from Skyrim. He goes like, charges it up and just blast it out, like little blast magic. And as he bells like this close, his guard is down, he's swinging down. As this happens, he gets blasted, like, and as he's like crashes down, he's like, the Feral Fangs see this, they just get frenzied because of what they just saw, so they start tearing through even more. Hestia, Lily are over there like, what's happening? Is he alive? They just like, get up. And Belle isn't waking up. And Hestia is like giving the whole, Jean and Lily, not Lily, Valerie, Lily, and Hestia are all there trying to get him up. And as they're doing this, he's sort of, there's like, he has that moment where it's like, you need to get up, Belle, you need to get up. He's like, duty, must get up, must protect them. As he wakes up, he like rolls over and goes, as he's coughed up like a ton of blood, like, oh my god, healer, get over here. He's like, no time. As he like spits out the rest of it, he like gets up, he's like, fortunately my sword won't be enough. Lily, yeah, pretty sure there's a magic one. Magic one. Go grab me. No, wait. Scratch that. He doesn't have a magic sword. Forgive me. He's like, go fetch my sword. As she like goes there, she like starts dragging and just like barely is able to lift it. He reaches down and two-hands it. He's walking like slowly and starts chanting the Fenrir's blessing, my wolf's blood, and does the whole thing. I ask you, Fenrir, grant me your strength. Grant me your power. Grant me your blessing. As he says that, it's like charged up, like the whole giant wolf goes, charges right into him, and he charges forward. Now, at this moment, the Goliath has been blasted again. Mikado has used a special gravity magic, and Ryu has used a magic that tears Goliath apart, and the blue-haired chick ends up throwing stuff into Goliath's eye, and Welf Crozo ends up jumping up and blasting him with a magic sword that was forged by the Crozo family. He jumps up and blasts it called Fire Moon. As he does that, the sword breaks, so Bell rushes forward, and with one slice, Goliath is eliminated. And like in the anime, it tries to reform. He doesn't waste a second. He jumps up and slams it down right into the crystal, shattering it. And it's just... And as he's standing there, he's like... As he cheers, everyone's around him like... As they're all cheering and such. Ice Wallenstein and all of them, they're like, where's Goliath? They just thought... as they hear this, apparently some people got out there like, Goliath's on the bottom floor, floor 18. As they get down there, they just see Bell as he finishes it. And okay, this is just stupid. I know he could kill him up something greater than eyes, but this is just ridiculous. So as they get the information, okay, he didn't kill it by himself. He even got hurt at one point. Okay. Some of them are like, oh, thank God. Oh, I didn't even think he could get too more overpowered, but if he did that, I would have had a heart attack. So as they say this is season 2 I'm gonna have to go to now. Freya has seen this, she's having her little moment of freak out, you know what I mean if you see the anime. I will not make the noises. She's like, it's just weird noises I can't make. I'm sorry. But as I digress. Now, I will continue forward by saying that, as I said, this goes into the second season. Mikado, Welf, and all of them, Jean, Valerie, Lily, are all down deep in the dungeons, and as they're cutting through, they're doing their job. Mikado still feels bad that they got past paraded. He's like, it's no big deal. Everyone's cool about it now, because it's several months later. So I'll say he's been there for about a year. And he's turned level 3. He's turned level 3 within a year. And as I continue forward, Wolf has grown to level 2. Oh, yeah. Because Bell literally got shot across the field and literally charged right back in, no problem. And I'll say he was deserving of a level up since he fought Manus. And as I continue, or digress, as they get to the bar, Mikado, Jean, Val, and, well, not Joan, they all get there and they're having their drinks, so yeah, the Apollo Familia starts things off they start, wow, look at the guy who reach level 3 within a year. And as they all just ignore them, Bell, I understand. He's nothing but a screaming worm. As he says this, he's like, what is that supposed to mean? Well, at least our God is amazing and perfect, unlike your God, whose only redeeming factor is her big boobs, which is what they actually say. So, Joan and Valerie try to get up, but Belle's like, calm down. As he literally stands up, and he's like, your Apollo is a creep. He chases people who do not want to love him. He's been this, that, and that. He has a lot of great skills, I'll give him that. But at the end of the day, he's just a stalker. As he says this, he doesn't really even do anything. But hears this, he's like, man, he really does not like some of these gods. And as he says that, he like turns around and then gets something thrown at him, just like a cup. This, as he feels that, he's like, Now these guys really aren't dumb. They know who they're messing with, but it was like an order given by Apollo. I'll say that. And they don't want to disappoint their perfect god, so they just follow his orders. Now as I continue forward, they go on. And some of them talk to Bell, like, after they get done. Like, there was another guy in there who's like Apollo's captain. And he's like, how dare you talk about Apollo like that? Oh, really? Who are you? The one guys who are with, who are his partners. I wonder how long till he finds someone better. As he says this, the guy goes throw a punch. Bell just simply goes forward and like sort of not punches him, but like doesn't even do anything. Guy like punches and Bell's just like, that all you got, and just smacks him. He's like knocked out. Now as I continue forward, they all like sort of like, come, my drink tastes bad, let's go. As they see that, they walk out like bosses. Each returns their own respective guilds and such. No, not guilds, but familias. But Lily goes with Belle and them, so because I'm pretty sure she's staying low. And as this happens, Belle and Hestia still get the like message like, oh yeah, we got invited to the Apollo Familia. And as they continue forward, I'm not sure if there's anything that happens in between that's noteworthy. Nope, nothing comes to mind. I'm sorry if there is, but nothing comes to mind. But as I continue forward, they just keep going. And as they're walking, he sort of like meet like a day. It's like a day after, and he gets a message from the two that it's inviting him, like Hestia and like one of her children, to the party. So as they do this, like Belle gets fitted with a nice outfit. Tuxedos and such don't look good on him. Yukatas don't look good on him. So he's like, can I just not come in my armor? She's like, no, you can't. Wait, I got an idea. So he gets his armor ready, then adds some fanciness to it. Like nice little, proper little, you know those shoulder capes? Some, like, high-ranking people have. So he gets one of those and just wears it, like, with his armor. So he looks like a proper, like, noble. As he's walking with Hestia, who he has to like put his hand down, and she's just like holding it because he really can't do the arm locking thing, typical. And as they walk in, Belle opens the door. He's like, everyone sees that he's in his armor, but it's like less armory, like it's in sections. So he like takes off less armor, so he still has his. I forgot about this, but he's learned not to get rid of his sword and shield. He's just always keeping that shield on him just in case. He's never getting rid of that. They're like, why does he have a shield? He's like, his hair is all groomed. He has like his shield on his back. Proper, like, not his armor's been shined, looks proper, and everything. He's wearing his good boots too. He's like, I wore my good boots for this. This better be worth it, Hestia. And as Hestia is eating, she's like, oh, let's go eat. And as they like, Hestia's doing her thing, Belle's talking with like the other two gods, that are the other two people who are there, and they just start talking. And then not Loki, but Freya and her little guy walks in, and Hestia's like, don't look at her, Belle. He's like, why? And as Freya hears that, she like asks him, like looks up at him. He looks down at her. She asks, can you kneel, please? Sure. And then as she does that, she puts her hand on he like sort of like she goes to like reach her hand out. He's just sort of like he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, as she goes to touch his face, he's like moving his head away from her hand. She's like, "Oh, is something the matter? I do not know you. For you don't touch me." And she tries to do her like little charm thing, but he's like, "What? Why are you just staring at me?" He isn't flustered, he isn't doing anything, and she's like, usually men have difficult reaction. And he's like, "Why is that?" "Because my beauty has an effect on them." He kind of like gives a chuckle. As everyone sees this, their like jaws are like most of the men's jaws are hitting the floor. Females are like, "Wait, he's resistant? What?" And as he says that, she's like, "Why is that?" He's like, I have only seen ever one woman who has ever been as beautiful as the sun." As he says that, Hestia's like, "Hold up." And he hasn't told anyone that he was married once. He just has the ring. He has like Mary's and his ring on a necklace. And she's like, hang on a second. She like reaches down, like pulls out a thing. It's like 2 rings. She is gone, but her memory and fire still is with me. And as he says that, he like gets down from kneeling. Freya. And the other dude's kind of upset because it's like, I believe it's like an unspoken thing that like mortals are like, "Goddess Freya." So he's like, "You'll speak to the goddess properly." And he's like as tall as Belle, maybe a bit shorter, and they are just like looking eye to eye. Belle's like, "Freya, goddess Freya." As he says that, this guy's not like kind of jealous because he's the big boy that like she wanted, but no, Belle has come in a challenger he must defeat. So as he's like sizing Belle up, Belle is sizing him up. It's like the same thing, like where I'll say this guy is as good as Belle. Just no answers, just he's as good as Belle. Now, as I digress, they sort of like get done sizing up. Eyes and Ainz, not eyes. Ainz, Wallenstein, and Loki walk up. So as they walk up, they sort of go like, and they have their little situations. He's like, "So this is the guy, And as like, "I can't see your face. Kneel down, please." As he does, he's like, "What's the deal with people wanting me to kneel?" He's like, "Yes, goddess Loki." She's like, he looks at Eyes and is like, "You look lovely tonight, Eyes." And Eyes is like, "Thank you." I should mention that a lot of these girls are like 16, so he really isn't attracted to them. This is like 9-year difference in most of them, I'm pretty sure. Maybe a bit more for others. Like, Valerie and Joan are like 12 years younger than him. But I digress. And now as I continue, he just sort of talks with Eyes a bit. And he's not like, there's like a bench out there, like a metal thing, so he like goes to sit down on it, but it's like, it's still kind of small, because he's just like, he takes up the entire bench. So like, as Eyes is like, "Hey, can I sit there?" He's like, "Sure." He like tries to scoot over, but it's just like barely enough room. He's like, "Sorry, but I'm just big." I don't know why. Massey's talking with her. He like notices that the one guy he pretty much bitch smacked out of like consciousness is talking with this weird man, like this weird guy with glasses and such on. Then Apollo makes his entrance. He's like, "Dun, dun, dun." But no, scratch that. Sorry. That this is where Eyes is like sort of like, she wants to ask him to dance, but then like looks at him. Height difference is like so incredible, so it just look plain out weird if he tried to dance with her. But that's when one of the gods, like I guess one of the gods, he's like, I forget the god's name, he has to ask permission, but he asks for his permission. Can I use my abilities? And he's like, agreed. And then he like snaps his finger. Bell and his armor and everything just kind of shrink down to like a more size that eyes can dance with. He's like, I'll say probably Hermes or some other can do this. I don't know. His Hermes abilities, I know he's just a messenger for the gods. But as I digress, they just like start dancing. Hestia and Loki are still like having to freak out about this. Bell is just dancing. He's like, he sort of has a flashback to Mary and his night, and how one time, like it was during like the village days in the village in the mountains, that there was like a little festival. And as Belle and such was there, and Valerie was like, not Valerie, sorry, Mary just like, sort of approached them. A few of the women who are quite big, because I'll just say mountains, bigger people, whatever. And as they, like, a few of them approached him to dance, but Mary's just like, sorry, he's already taken. And as she just like steals him away, he's like, was that not rude? She's like, no, you're mine. And as she says that flat and simple, he's like, oh, alright. And so as they're dancing, like, everyone notices how it looks kind of awkward, but then again, she's like 6 foot, he's 9. Like, she's 6'10", he's 9'11". It's gonna look weird. So as they're just dancing, like, it was like one of those scenarios where he has to look down, like, be careful where he steps with Mary, so he doesn't, like, step on her foot or something. Especially step on her foot. So as they're dancing, he just sort of has this nostalgic feel. He's like, that was a good night. Grandfather was great that night too. He wasn't really making any remarks. Grandfather was just happy. As he like sort of gets snapped out of this with the whole entrance of like, greetings my guest, Apollo. And as Apollo walks up, he gets like a weird smile. He's like, I heard you attacked one of my familia. And as the like little guy comes running up, he's like, yeah, he attacked me. He's like in a cast. He's like, he's not even the one I smacked. He like says that plain and simple. He is not the one I smacked. The one I smacked is the one who went to hit me. Which is that one over there, Ponytail over there. Gay. And as he's like saying, your partner. And as this is heard, as he's like, pretty sure isn't he one of your partners? As he says this, Apollo sort of gets like, and the other guy gets kind of irritated as well. Hestia comes walking over, Belle, he's like, forgive me, my goddess. And then like, the spell wears off and he just like grows back up again, like, whoa. That is more manageable. And as he says this, I was like, ooh, you're even bigger than I thought. And he's like, Hestia, let us not waste time with this whelp. And as he says that, Apollo's like, hang on a second, you attacked my child. He attacked me, whelp. He's not even giving him the like ability to be called a god. He's just referring to him as a whelp. He doesn't do this with Loki or Freya, because Freya's guy, like, supporters would probably jump him. Loki, he respects I, so he's like, fine, I'll give your god some respect at least. Even it's grudgingly giving Loki respect, when he, all in all, see, he's knows what it's like to be betrayed and such, so he doesn't trust Freya or Loki as far as he could throw a 10 like a mountain, or push a mountain, which isn't very far. So as I keep going, or digress, as Apollo's doing this, and he just like, he sort of just like walks out with Hestia proper and all that. His like he has like his hairstyle, like, I'm trying to decide whether like say he cut his hair and give him a beard, but I don't know. But I'll say he just doesn't have the beard, but he does have the hair, like nice long black flowing hair. But as I digress again, he sort of they just go home and do their thing. Now, Joan and Valerie try to get there to the dungeon early with Wealth and Lily. And Sif and Belle sort of there. So as they're walking, they just sort of like go out the front. He's like, Joan and Valerie have already been there. Are already there at the dungeon waiting for us. Excuse me. Now as they go forward, they sort of just start talking and such. And now comes the part. He walks out and just sees the whole Apollo familia just standing there. Just like, and fire! Belle and Sif like dodge forward and take Hestia, and they just start going through the city, defending themselves, just... They even get to one point like where they're on the roofs, and get cut off by the two that gave him the invitation. She's like, Apollo won't stop until he has you. Now as he says this, he's like, Fenrir's... all I need is my god and Fenrir's blessing. As he says this, he's like been chanting, like quiet. He cut his hand and quietly like chant, not cut his hand. Well, he's like chanting, sort of. It's like asking Fenrir for a tiny bit of power, not enough, because he's gonna be holding back. Doesn't draw out his sword, but he does have a shield, and just starts shield bashing people, just like, Bwah! And like protection and such, to like save them from arrows and such. And as they're running, Seer, Ryu, and those cat girls, I forget their names, have the same reactions, like, oh no, Belle! And as they're like running through the city, well, this is about 36 minutes. I'll stop this once I get to a part. So as I digress, as they're going through the city, like his like groups of friends are trying to help him out. The Feral Fang even showed up. They're like, we heard you were in trouble, boss. And as they come running forward, they hold off some like 20 Apollo familia people. Like, don't kill them, just defeat them. As they say this, they're like, yes sir. And as they're beating him back, he still gets attacked by like quite a few more people than just the guy with Flameberg, I believe is the type of sword that is like a miniature Flameberg. But as I continue forward, they sort of like bash through all their obstacles, and Hestia says, we could just run away. He's like, no. He wants a war, let's give him one. That isn't how this works, don't. And as he's like, fine, how does this work? Well, we're challenged, and she gives him the whole rundown. And as they sort of approach it, he's like, we accept your war game. Like, he gives a whole speech. And I think I'm gonna end it here. It's been decently long, and I've been able to do the decent amount of details. Like, a lot of this is just like fast paced, because there really isn't a lot of details, because I really can't do the same, because he's merely just knocking people out, like bashing them. One guy, he even trips and kicks into a wall. He really can't go... It's like difficult to go into detail of non-lethal battle sometimes, but like he's like bashing through people, kicking them, even sometimes just straight up backhanding people, like me. And the Feral Fangs come in. They literally just have to like sort of beat people up. Lily is taken by Soma Familia because she's sort of hypnotized. Wealth is like, what are you doing? And he like gets joined up by like the Feral Fang. He's like, we got yourself, Wealth, and etc. Now, this will be where I'm ending it off, because I'll run it through my head of how I can make the war arc and all that more interesting. And I also gotta finish the second season, because I've been rewatching the seasons, so I can get ready. And thank you for watching. Truly appreciate it. Tell me what you think. Goodbye.